Hello, everyone. Welcome to Safe Space Podcast. My name is Anita, and I am out of touch with content making and and all things creative for a while now since I've become a mom. But it is my passion, and I always ever since having my son, I pushed my career and hobbies and passions on the back burner, as I'm sure a lot of moms will be able to relate to. But I'm finally getting back into things, and I'm showing up for myself, finding myself again, and I'm done making excuses, because there was always something that I would say to myself that would keep me from just starting. I need this new equipment, I need more time, I need this, this, and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna go for it and just show up for myself and just do my best. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Kind of like motherhood. You just show up, you do your best, and as much as you try, it's not going to be perfect. So it's actually a perfect segue that leads me to the topic of this first ever episode of Safe Space Media, which is motherhood. I'm sure it's not the only time we'll be talking about motherhood, because it's the discussions and conversations we can have about being a mom and all things parenthood in general are endless. But as of today, I'm just going to be talking about my journey becoming a mom, my journey with myself, just becoming a mom it's life-changing, it's soul-changing. It really is a rebirth. You're not only are you giving birth or having a new life in your care, but you're also reborn as a mom. And there's a lot of things I wasn't prepared for going into motherhood, and now that my son is a toddler and he's past the newborn phase, he's about 15 months, I finally feel like I can talk about some things. And I'm sure moms that have been moms much longer than me will have so much more to teach me and talk about. But there's no community like the mom community. That's one thing I'll say for sure, is like moms are so together and unite with each other, because if you're a mom, you know how it is. It's rough, it's beautiful, it's hard, but it's worth it. But it's definitely a realm of its own. So I'm going on and on, but yeah. So I'm going to be talking about my journey in motherhood, and I'm going to talk about my mental health after becoming a mom during pregnancy, and maturity. I think those are the 3 M's we're going to tackle today when it comes to the first ever episode of Safe Space. And I hope you enjoy, and I hope you get some value from this conversation. So I became a mom very unexpectedly, for sure. You know what? I'm gonna look at my list, because my brain is in total scrambles. This, just like motherhood, this setup is far from perfect. I'm filming this at 12 a.m. and my son is asleep, and it's the only time I have for myself. So we'll just roll with the punches. You know what? I guess the first thing I'll talk about when it becomes to being a mom is the complete losing yourself. Before I was a mom, like most people, goals and ambitions and so much time, and you suddenly your entire purpose changes in 1 second to this beautiful little soul that is just becomes your everything, the center of your entire being. And before that point, you were the center of your being. And I don't mean in a selfish way. I mean in a very human way. You thought about yourself and what you want and what you want to accomplish, and I'm not saying once you become a mom you don't have all those things. I'm doing this because I do have those things. But like I said, everything has to revolve around your baby. Yes, I'm finally at a place now where I can start doing things that I want to do for myself, like this podcast. But I did have to wait until he was fed and bathed and put to sleep, and now it's 12 a.m. and I'm now filming a podcast on motherhood, hoping he doesn't wake up, and then we'll have to stop. And that's just how it is. Your goals, your ambitions, your everything has to work around your baby, and it's something that you have to end up getting used to. It's almost like you're grieving a certain autonomous part of your being, because you're not just autonomous anymore. Once you become a mom, it's not about you anymore. And as much as people will say, a healthy mom, a happy mom is a mom that puts herself first, it's just not what happens. At least not in the beginning. And not unless you have a lot of help. And I have a lot of help. I have tons of help. And it's just not what happens. Your baby needs you, your baby feeds if you're breastfeeding is a whole another topic in itself. But if you're breastfeeding, your baby is basically completely attached to you for the first 6 months of life. So yeah, your identity changes. Your identity completely changes once you become a mom, and only other moms will understand what I'm saying. You have to grieve a past version of yourself, and I don't mean that in a negative way. It's a very beautiful thing, but it's a very jarring thing because it happens so quick. You're pregnant, you're preparing, you're nesting, you're so excited, and then especially with your first child, I only have one child, and it's my first, so maybe that's why it took me so aback at the beginning. It was my first time going through this, but I really had to completely reinvent my sense of being after becoming a mom, if I'm being completely honest. That took a toll on me a lot because not only was I completely exhausted and sleep deprived and healing from major trauma to my body, but I also had completely no idea who I was, and I didn't have the time to figure that out because every single second of your day is occupied, and it really does take a toll on you and your mental health. And moms are superheroes, and I'll just say that I'm a superhero. My mom is a superhero. My grandma is a superhero. My mother-in-law and my sister-in-law and all of superheroes, because it is something that is not talked about enough. I did not hear this in any of the motherhood podcasts that I was listening to when I was pregnant, it was all motherhood is so beautiful, motherhood is so exciting, and it is, but it's also very hard, and it really does take a toll on your personal being, and it takes you a while to get back to feeling like a human being again. Because for a while there, you're just mom. I don't know if that made any sense, but I feel like other moms will understand what I mean by that. Another thing that just came in my mind while talking about that is mom guilt, because you're now the first 6 months after having your baby, you're completely consumed by motherhood and just like the day-to-day tasks. You do feel so many waves of emotions, and they're not all pretty, and I'm not even talking about postpartum depression, because some people have it really bad, and I don't think I had it that bad. The first week was really tough, and I think that's also has a lot to do with hormones and your body, your so much change is happening, and sleep deprivation and all of that stuff. I don't think I had it that bad, but you definitely have some really hard feelings after giving birth, and you have so many different kinds of emotions, like, and then on top of that, you have this new emotion that's mom guilt. And mom guilt is so strong. I remember when I first had my baby, I would feel so guilty for going and taking a shower, because he needed me. He was so attached to me 24/7 that anytime I would, he wouldn't literally be on me. He would just cry. And this was very early on. And I would feel this immense guilt for just practicing simple hygiene, like taking a shower, taking even the most little things that you can think of, I would feel guilty for. And that's extreme. That's completely extreme. And it's so common. It's so common. And it's just not, I was not prepared for that. Like, nobody talked about how I was going to feel guilty for having to take a shower. No one talked about that. I'm telling you that it's so real. And if you just had a baby and you're feeling those feelings, trust me, it gets better, and you are so strong, and you are so powerful, and you will get through it. And I know how you feel, and it's tough, and I don't want to disregard your feelings, because I remember when I would try to talk to people about it, they'd be like, they try to make me feel better by saying, oh, don't even worry about it, or you're being a little crazy, you're just being protective mama bear, and just completely disregarding what I was feeling. When all I needed to hear was, I'm so sorry you're going through so many different kinds of emotions and really tough feelings, but I'm here for you, and I hear you, and you're so strong, and everything you're feeling is valid. That's all I needed to hear, was that all my feelings are valid, and I'm not completely insane, because sometimes you really do feel like you're going crazy, and I think it has a lot to do with hormones, and I think it has a lot to do with sleep deprivation, and I also think it has a lot to do with just so many changes happening in your life, in your mind, with your body. So mom guilt, I dealt with a lot of mom guilt, and I think a lot of people deal with postpartum depression. I think I dealt with a lot of postpartum anxiety and a lot of postpartum paranoia. The first few months, I think I would just stare at my son like 24 hours a day. I would just stare at him, make sure he was breathing properly, make sure he wouldn't put his face against anything, make sure he wasn't overheating, and just I would just, even when people say, oh, when the baby sleeps you should sleep. It doesn't happen. It never, it's just unrealistic. It doesn't happen. Okay, because when the baby sleeps, if you're me, you're just staring at him because you're double and triple checking that he's still alive, because you're that level of paranoid and anxious, or you're like cleaning or whatever you have to do, anything other than sleeping. So that doesn't happen. Since we talked about we talked about mom guilt, we talked about paranoia, anxiety. Another thing I wasn't really prepared for is the loneliness of it all. You would think that you just brought your child into the world and you would feel anything but loneliness, but it's actually you're in your bubble of your day-to-day tasks, and it's actually the first few months are very isolating. At least they were for me. I don't think that's the case for everybody. I'm a very young mom. At least I think I'm a young mom. I'm 27. I had my baby when I was 26. None of my friends are moms. None of my friends really are even, no, not a lot of them are even married. So I am not in that phase of life where everyone around me is having babies, and so my life changed a lot, as you would expect, and the people around me, their lives didn't change like how mine did. So I had no one to really talk to about what I was going through on the day to day, who would really relate on like it's not that I didn't, and I don't mean that I had no one to talk to and my friends like ditched me, and nothing like that. I have amazing friends and family who checked in on me and still check in on me and showered me with love, and my child with love, and supported me. But there wasn't a lot of people that I could talk to who were going through what I was going through, because they just weren't at that stage of life as of yet. And there were some people that were, and they were so busy with their own newborn bubble that it's just, I didn't get that much time to really talk about the things that I wanted to, the things that I was going through. And I do think I am a talker. Like, I do think I get a lot of peace from talking about stuff when something is on my heart. Clearly, I'm making a podcast, so clearly I'm a talker. But yeah, it was very isolating, and I was not expecting that. I think it was very different for my husband, because he's a little older than me, and like most of his friends and everyone that he's surrounded by is either a dad, or becoming a dad, or married and in in a similar stage of life. So he had a lot of people he could talk to about fatherhood, and it just wasn't that case for me and motherhood. My loneliness played a big part of grieving your past self, because yeah, I couldn't go shopping with my girlfriends whenever they were going anymore, and I couldn't grab dinners and drinks like how we used to, and I couldn't grab brunch and go to I just couldn't hang. I was I was completely consumed by my little bundle of joy. And you would think like, oh, you have your partner and you're going through this together, but your partner is, at least my I'm so lucky that my partner plays a huge part of taking care of our son. So, and it's his first time becoming a father, like it's my first time becoming a mother, and you're just so exhausted. And so when you're done with your newborn shift and it's your partner's turn, you just want to sleep, you just want to shower, you just want to do all the things that you either had to do, laundry, eat something. So you're just not, you don't have the emotional capacity at that time to like discuss like, oh, I'm feeling really down or heavy, my heart is feeling heavy at that time. But I on the same positive note, like I said about the mom community, when I did get a chance to talk to another mom, and when I did get a chance to talk to some of my cousins and some of other relatives that were going through motherhood, I didn't really understand why moms talk about being moms all the time before becoming a mom. And now I know why moms talk about being moms and talk about their kids all the time, because one, it's your entire life, and what else is there to talk? I'm just joking, there's a lot to talk about, but when you're going through it, like, it's all consuming. So getting to talk to someone else about it who gets it, who you can talk to about the tiniest little things, like, oh, he's getting this rash here and he's not latching properly, or this, that. Being able to just do that is so healing, so fulfilling, and that's why I think it's so important to have mom friends. I have some mom friends now, but I really didn't when I first had my son, and I did have relatives, and I'm so thankful for them, because if I didn't have those few relatives that really gave me the advice and were listening to me yap about my paranoia and anxieties, it would have been so much worse than it was. And so I'm so lucky and blessed, and having a community of moms is so important, and I didn't know that going into it, and I think if I did, the loneliness and the isolating part of my initial motherhood journey would have been so much better. You live and you learn, so having a community is so important, especially when it comes to big life changes, life altering events, which motherhood is a life altering event, a very positive, beautiful life altering event, but life alternating nonetheless. A lot of love for the mom community. We have each other's back, which I hope to add to this community by creating this podcast, because if consuming this kind of content also really helped me feel less alone and crazy when I was going through the deep end of things, knowing that you're not alone, and there's so many women and moms who are going through exactly what you're going through, and have gone through what you're going through, and are going to go through what you're going through. So you're not alone, and if you need help, please reach out, because there's no shame in reaching out, asking for help, talking about your feelings. No shame in that, and it will help you so much, help you immensely. You'll feel like this huge pressure off your chest released just by having a conversation. I think that's the beauty of community, especially the mom community. Speaking of community, I am so grateful for family. We have so much family in the city that from the day he was born, people came to visit him and visit us at the hospital. And when I came home, there were people, and I think sometimes people might feel overwhelmed by that, but for me, it really gave me strength knowing that I was doing this not just alone and not just with me and my husband, but with an entire village. And I'm telling you, it does take a village. It's not a one person, two person job, which I know a lot of people have to do it that way. And hats off to those who do. Hats off to them, because I could not even imagine not having the support that I have, which is community and family around to help raise my baby. And also how lucky he is to be growing up with so many people who love him, and so many family members who care for him and love him, and he's surrounded by so much love. So how lucky am I, and how lucky is he? Speaking of family, becoming a mom, it made me reflect on my parents and parenthood in general and families in general. Up until you becoming a parent, you kind of put your own parents on this supernatural podium of expectations. After becoming a mom myself, I saw my parents as humans who did their best, and they did an amazing job. I can only aspire to do as of an amazing job as they did. But it really it creates so much more empathy in your heart. At least it did for me, because you know how hard it is, and you know how hard you're trying as a mom. So you have so much more understanding and empathy for your own parents, and you reflect on your own childhood. And for example, I grew up Bangladeshi girl in the West, in Canada, and my parents were very strict and protective. I really hated it growing up, and I didn't understand it. Well, let me tell you, I understand it now, because I am extremely protective over my baby, and I'm extremely cautious regarding things around my son. And I get it now. And when they used to tell me, when you become a parent, you'll understand why we're like this. And it's very true. I became a parent, and I am equally, if not more, anxious and protective, paranoid, all of the above. And now roles are reversed. Now they're telling me to, calm down, and don't be so helicoptery. And I just think it's just so natural. Mama bear instinct is just so natural, and I'm an anxious person innately. So yeah, I there's so many things that you look at differently after becoming a parent, when it comes to reflecting on your own childhood and your own parents. That was a big revelation for me, looking at my parents as just also people who are doing this for the first time, like I am, who are doing their best and figuring things out just like I'm figuring things out, and just trying my best. I'm gonna switch to I don't know if I was negative, but I was real. It creates such pure joy in very mundane day-to-day things, which is one of my favorite parts of motherhood. I feel so much joy and fulfillment after a long, hard day, just doing ordinary things, because it makes everything worthwhile. That sounds so cheesy, but it does. It makes everything worthwhile. When your baby smiles at you because they're happy that you're their mom, and they're happy that you're just with them, it makes everything worth it. It really does. Little things like when they try mango for the first time, and they smile the way my son smiles when he eats mangoes. It just lights up my heart. I don't know how to explain it. Like, he gets so much joy and so much excitement from the most random things, and it makes you so excited and happy about random things, and that's so beautiful. I used to be one of those people who would like save joy and happiness for like big moments, and now I'm someone who feels such strong emotions of happiness and joy and love every single day because my son has done that for me. If he's running around the field with my dog just like ecstatic that he's just outside and feeling the sun, I feel that. If he's eating something new for the first time, and my son is a foodie, he loves trying new foods, and the way he lights up when he tries something new, I light up and it's so healing for me, and it's just every single day is the best day. And what's really beautiful is that you might have had the most exhausting day. You might have had no sleep, and everything was go go go, and your son didn't nap properly, and you're just worn so thin. But then you think about how he had the most magical day, and he had the best day with his mom and dad, and in his little world he is so safe and happy and trying new things, and he had the best day. It makes your hardships so fulfilling and worth it. It reframes your mind. It honestly does. Motherhood reframes your mind into like just receiving joy and fulfillment from day to day, everyday things. So you feel it so much more, and you feel it every day. And I think that is my favorite part of motherhood and becoming a mom. There's not enough words that I can explain to express how much love becoming a mom brings into your life and your heart and your soul. I think I'll end it on that note. I've been yapping a lot, and I feel like he's going to wake up soon. So before that happens, I will get going. Thank you guys so much for listening, watching. I don't know how the video turned out. I don't know how the audio turned out. I'm getting back into things, so please give me grace, and I'll only improve. But if you have any topics you want me to talk about, please let me know. And I'm so excited to embark on this journey that is going to be Safe Space Podcast. And I'm so passionate about talking about real human experiences that we all go through. And I'm just going to do the thing. So even if it's not perfect, you'll be seeing me. And I hope to see you and talk to you real soon. I hope you enjoyed this podcast episode, and see you next time. Thank you so much. Allah Hafiz.